welcome to the Business Book Club. So this week I'm talking about Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. So she's the COO of Facebook. So she reports directly to Mark Zuckerberg. This woman is incredible, like genuinely, and she's one of those people where I'm normally quite cynical when someone's too sort of famous and too kind of pushed in your face as being like a woman in business. She just sounds amazing. I have to say I read this last year and it's one of the best books I read all of last year.
I've heard amazing things about it.
Really, really good book. Also worth listening to if you're in the UK, listen to her Desert Island Discs because it was really, really good. And really sad, she lost her husband after she wrote this. So she was widowed very suddenly. He had like a heart attack on a treadmill and she was left with the two kids, bringing them up on her own. And it's such a personal Desert Island Discs. I listened to it a few weeks ago. But yeah, so Lean In is all about the difference of being a woman in the workplace to being a man in the workplace. And so I think while it's not specifically designed for entrepreneurs, I think it's so important for women in business to read. And it's not a long read, it's not a difficult read, and it is genuinely really interesting. So it includes stuff like the thing that stands out, and I read this over a year ago and I can still remember the story. There was a study at Harvard Business School where they gave a report to the whole class. Half of the class had the same report, but all they did was they changed. It was originally about a female entrepreneur, a female business owner, and they changed her name to a man's name, and every time it said she, they changed it to he. So half the class thought they were reading about woman, the other class thought they were reading about man. The story was exactly the same, and then and these are Harvard Business School students, so these are intelligent, capable people. They got them to review the person they were reading the report about on things like leadership skills and success and courage and all these skills. And it was really interesting how different, and this is across the board, the way they rated a woman for having the exact same skills as a man. So even, so when they thought it was a male entrepreneur, everything that he had achieved was incredible. They were so much more negative towards the women. And the book talks a lot about how the fact that being successful and being powerful are not redeeming features in a woman, how as society, and whether that's women or males, but it's both people's both sides of the coin perceptions of women, they're not things that we encourage in women, and we actually look down on those people, whereas actually we expect men to be sort of taking the lead and to be successful and to be really driven. And actually it's really interesting how something that can be a positive quality in a man is considered an actual negative quality in a woman. And that's what we're all up against. If we want to be successful business owners, we're against that culturally, and that's from men as well as from women. I think that's really incredible and really sad. So I thought that was something that really stuck with me.
Does she talk about at all how she's kind of overcome that? Because obviously she's in this incredible position now, and she must have faced like so many different challenges and things like that happening to her.
And she talks about things like when she was pregnant and how the pressure she put on herself when she was pregnant to do everything because she felt that she would be compared to a man in that role and that a man wouldn't be taking this time off. And she talks about how little maternity leave she took the first time and stuff like that. Just this crazy pressure she put on herself. She focuses quite a lot on the way that we bring up children. She talks a lot about the fact that that you very rarely call a male child bossy if he's bossing around other kids, but you would call a girl bossy, and how
definitely,
that kind of the way that we make, and I know that that's something that definitely in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years has come more into prominence, where people are realising how differently we treat children, and that really there shouldn't be that gender bias, and that kids should just be allowed to play with all the same toys and be treated in the same way. But it is really different, really interesting, and I think as a woman reading this, it makes you realise what we're up against, and that we're achieving masses, because actually the odds are not, they're stacked against us. It is a lot harder for you to get out there and just do your own thing and really be successful, because you face this kind of backlash, which is really sad, isn't it? That kind of,
you kind of think in this day and age, I think you kind of know it's there, but I think because now the entry to starting a business is open really for everyone, but it's definitely as your business develops and you maybe look at getting investment or you look at taking your business to the next level, I think that's particularly where I think women are really up against a bit of a raw deal, and you kind of think in this day and age, why is it still like that?
I think what's great about this is to have that idea validated by someone who's obviously really got to the top of her game and she's seen it all, and having someone so vocal and putting a name to it and saying, look, we're up against this, we need to lean against this. Because I know we've had conversations, you know, the amount of times I've forwarded you an email and said, do you think I would be spoken to like this if I were a man? And there are definitely times where people talk to you differently if you're a woman, or they treat you differently in business because you're a woman. And I think it's nice to have that justified so that you're not just thinking, I'm being paranoid here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have got a lot of time for it. I mean, so this is, you can see this copy doesn't look red because I bought a second copy because I gave my copy to my intern, who's a 21-year-old girl, who I want her to read it now and to know these things so that, you know, she kind of has a step up on us, really. But yeah, so I would definitely really recommend reading this. I think more so in America, they've kind of developed it into a bit of kind of a social networking aspect too, and they have lean-in circles where women can meet other women in a similar situation. I'm not 100% sure they do that over here. I haven't seen anything advertised, but it is one to read. I would say, you know, I read a lot, and regardless of, you know, even outside of business books, I would say this is one of the best books I read last year. And it's, you know, it's a nice short read. It's nice, and it's kind of, it's almost like a little Bible. If you're, you know, a woman in business, you know, you need the Holy Grail.
Yeah. Well, then you can just give that to me, and that'll be my reading for tonight.
Perfect.